let's see, when I was starting an apprenticeship when I was 14, and I worked in a beauty shop, and there's kind of like a freeway or highway between where the streetcars run and stuff, and across the street his folks had a restaurant, and they had a 3-story house on the corner. And so he would always come and have his hair cut there in the salon. And then they had a piano. They lived in the back and had a piano, and he always came and played the piano there. Oh, and I could just melt when I heard that music. I just love music.
She was a cute little red-faced, red-haired girl, you know. I always was crazy about red hair.
Then we happened to meet in a restaurant where I lived, and we girls used to go dancing there. Like, it started in the afternoon. And then he and some buddies came that day, and they all knew me, all the buddies that lived around there and his friends, and they said, come and sit with us, come and sit with us. All right, I came and sat with them. And during intermission, they had a beautiful outdoor, kind of like a park. And he and his buddy, they had a restaurant across the street. And they brought those little piccolos, they are called, little bottles of champagne. And they had them, they stole them, I think, from the restaurants, and had them in the pocket of their suit jacket. And then out there, we all drank out of those bottles. I never had champagne in my life. I was just a poor girl, you know, growing up. And, oh, it tasted so good.
You know, and then all of a sudden I said to my friend, I says, what happened to Ziegert when we was back in?
First of all, we had to go back in.
Yeah, well, first we went back in, and we're sitting at this big table in this dance hall. I says, what happened to Ziegert? I said, I don't know. We looked, she was under the table.
I was drunk, I slipped on. That champagne did. But he must have liked it, because we started going out then.
I don't think I drank much champagne because I don't like that stuff.
No, but you drank enough beer, huh? You made up for it. We were supposed to come to America, and I was supposed to go with my folks, but for some reason my dad got sick and we couldn't go we had to have a good examination by the consulate, and we couldn't go, so I stayed behind with my parents. 2 brothers came first, but then they had to apply for a new visa again, and it takes about a year. And then he and my dad worked for the same company and saw each other every day, and my dad says, Ziegert is going to America with us. And Jürgen says, no, she is not, she can't, she's gonna stay home. And they fought every day back and forth. And then finally he says, I think we have to get married before they leave. So we got married in November, and in January they came over here, my youngest brother and my parents. Then we applied for the visa, and they came in 59, January 59, and we came in October 60. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know, to go back a little bit, I saw her dad after I found out she's going to America. I saw him every day. You know, I walked a big company. You had to walk about a half a mile to see him. And she says, I cannot leave you with my daughter. You know, you're too wild for her. She kind of like that, you know. He says, you have to get married. That's the only way out of it. You know, that's what happened.
And so we did, and I got stuck with him.
I would say you gotta give and forgive.
Yeah, you gotta give and take, and always tell the truth, and
sometimes not.
Be true. He's a liar.
No, you know, for example, if like I would be staggering home or something years ago, you know, and she says, how many beers did you have? I say, well, 4 or 5, maybe, you know.
He still does that.
No, I don't.
Only 2. He always has 2.
Well, that is my limit because of my diet. But,
Oh, diet? You had a diet?
well, I don't want to drink so much to get fat. But, you know, that's not really a lie.
No, you don't
know,
even need to talk
if
about
you
it because
go
I don't
out
like
with-
to be reminded of it.
If you go out with some other woman and you say, oh, I've been mowing the lawn, that's a lie, you know.
Yeah. There are a lot of lies, but we don't tell lies. And always go to bed happy and always kiss goodnight. You know, that's what we do. And like he says, you gotta give a little bit, take a little bit, and forgive, you know. And we made it. It was not always easy, you know, and especially after you have kids and the husband goes to work and then they think they have to have a drink afterwards and you sit with the kids and take good care of them.
Well, that's a job, yeah.
But nowadays it is not like that anymore. It used to be the men, they always thought they could do a little bit better than the woman, you know. But
And maybe, well, after we got married, I might have to add, we got engaged in France.
before that, not after.
Yeah,
Yeah.
before we got
Yeah.
married. We got engaged in France. We took our motor scooters and we drove to France.
No.
No?
We went in that Lloyd with friends, with Hans,
Oh, that's a
Hans
little
and
car.
Margaret.
A little car that time.
We went to Holland with the motor scooter.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I bought the rings before, and
We, in Germany, we always had both the ring, just a band.
the same as this one.
Yeah.
But you wear it on one hand,
And I have my...
on the left hand, and when you on the right hand, no. On the,
No. In Germany, we wear it on the left hand when we get engaged and then switch over to the right hand when
Oh,
we
yeah.
get married. And, yeah, and he had the rings. And we climbed up a little bit of a mountain there
On the
over the
Mediterranean.
Mediterranean, and it was beautiful. And
I
you
had
know,
a bottle of champagne with me,
mhm,
so
yeah,
you could see for 10, 15 miles. You just blew and beautiful.
we found the right spot, and so we gave each other our word to get married and the ring. And then we camped with another couple, and we're still in contact. They are from Germany. I mean, yeah, they're still in Germany. And he worked with him, and I went to school with her. So we knew each other for a long time. And we had just tiny little tents just to sleep in. We stayed there in sin, but don't tell anybody. Wipe that out there.
Then panic broke out when I lost the ring. Remember that?
He did. He lost that ring.
This campground there on the Mediterranean Sea, they had these long wash sinks.
Basins.
Long, about
Yeah.
30 feet long, you know, a lot of faucets. So I wasn't used to a ring. I took it off and put it up on top there and washed my hands and everything. And then that night I thought, oh my God, my ring is gone.
Oh.
So we looked there and didn't find anything. Then we went to the office. Of course, I couldn't speak German.
And we couldn't speak French.
You know, and we showed him kind of, you know, like this. And, oh yeah, he says, and somebody found it, and they delivered it, give it to the office there. And they had a name on it who found it, and so we bottled champagne. Took a bottle of champagne and took it to these people. They were a doctor, I think,
From England.
England, yeah.
And I said, and it has his name in it, and his has my name in it. Oh yeah, he lost his ring and had my name in it. So we had proof, you know. We showed him, and yeah, At first, they didn't know it. They didn't have it. And then some guy came in and he's like, oh, yeah. And yeah, and it is amazing. And you know, when we came over here, we didn't speak English either. And it was tough. And I cried a lot. But once I learned the language, they cannot shut me up anymore. When Joanne was born, my first one, I could not believe it. That was so, I had a wonderful doctor. He was an older guy, you know, it was 65, so we were here 5 years, and I went to beauty college. I had to go back and do everything over again, and so tried very hard to speak the language. And that old doctor, Dr. Asbury, he helped build the clinic in Corvallis, and that was my doctor. And he always says, oh, Sigrid, come in my office. And he would talk, and he says, how is it going? Sometimes I would cry. I say, I never learned that language. You know? He was kind of like a dad. And when Joanne was born, first of all, I had pains, you know, but how it is, and you don't know, whatever. But so when she was born and Jürgen came, he couldn't be in there while she was born. That is all different now. But then he came in there, and the Dr. Asbury told me later, he says, Sigrid, I have helped so many mothers have their babies, but nothing like that ever happened to me. He says, you tried so hard to speak the language, but when she was born, there was no word English spoken. We could only express our love in German. And that was...
And when I saw
the trade she's asking about, I cannot really say. We love them both so much. They are good daughters, and you know it. And what can I say? Everything is wonderful.
Which one
turned out good?
Which one was the one with a funny shaped head?
Joanne.
Joanne, you know, when
first one.
When I first saw Joanne, it scared the hell out of me, you know. I thought, how can a baby have a head like that? And so when I didn't say anything, but when I went outside,
she's beautiful.
I saw the doctor, you know. And I said, doctor, what's wrong with her head?
Could you speak English?
Well, whatever I said, he knew what I said. And he says, oh yeah, that's because we're using those forceps, you know. And that
she was bruised a little bit here. They pulled her out.
Terrible, like she went through a washing machine or something.
Through the mill, they went like that and stretched her head.
You know,
they go through a mill, the babies, don't they?
Everything was different then than it is now. For example, one of the babies, I had to wait in the waiting room.
Yeah, but that was Joanne.
That was Joanne. And then a room air conditioner, window air conditioner, you know.
Oh.
And I was so scared that I was just sweat just poured off of me. And the air conditioner was blown. I was sitting right in front of it, and I was smoking cigarettes. Think of that, you know, smoking one after the other one, you know. I was still smoking that.
He was sweating, and I was in pain. I said, rub my back, rub my back. I had so bad pain. But it was all worth it. Wie macht der Opa immer? Opa, 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 reiter.
If you own the baby, like us had the baby, you know, you think that's the best looking baby, the most beautiful child you ever can think of. And later on, you know, when you see pictures, ugly, you know.
They are not. That is a man talking to a woman.
They are kind of wrinkly. I don't care what anybody says.
They are, but they go through a mill. You know, they have to go through a lot. But to me, every baby, I love babies. They're all beautiful. Yeah. And the women think different about it than the men. Some men, I mean, nowadays, the men are so different than they were at that time. The German men are different anyway. They think they know it all.
I didn't. Me too?
Yeah, you too.
Me too.
That was nice.
Now me, now you and me. That was both. And following doctor, we sing. Following doctor, look it fall some skin. Oh, following Applebee. Hold your head up high. Stick your tongue out anything.
Ah, cute little things. Brady, you know, when he was here, that his legs, they were like that. You know, he would walk so funny. And he would always say, and I would have the kids' days, but not all together well, they were at different stages anyway. But Brady, he always would go in the kitchen with me, and I had to pick him up, and he says, Oma, Noop. Snoop, he meant. Oma, Noop. So I had to open the cupboard and show him, and I'd tell him what it all was in there. Okay, we close it. Oma, Noop. He would keep saying, Oma, Noop. He wants to snoop and see what was in there. That I remember about him.
Was?
Playbar? Ne, du sollst einmal spielen für Opa. Der Opa wollte doch ein Bild machen. Eine Musik. Ja, und dann spielen wir Ball. Einmal spielen. Guck mal, Opa will das total drauf. Hör mal, Opa, jetzt.
Whitney and Travis, they were the closest. Whitney, she was always, come on, Travis, let's take the dogs for a walk. The little stuffed dog. And we had chains from the dogs we had, you know. They put the chain on the dogs and they would go for a walk in the basement. And then they played house down there. And Whitney she was the bigger one. She always, the instigator, you know. Then they played house, and I'd find papers at the bar, you know, where they wrote what they bought and stuff. Played store. And that was really cute.
Then Travis and Whitney, I think. Travis and Whitney, they were shooting in the back.
Oh, yeah.
They had these lawn chases, I think they call them, real flat, you know, with big old cushions on them. They laid them under the deck downstairs, and I had a target. I made a target. And
BB gun, eh?
I made two BB guns, and I was doing something. I had to go with the wheelbarrow back and forth, you know, and they were shooting. And then I come again, and Travis says, "Hold your fire!" I thought it was kind of...
Some little... Hold your fire. That was cute, yeah. Then we had little swimming pools. They would go swimming and...
Who were the ones we took fishing on the lake there on the coast? Taconich Lake.
We took them all. We took Travis and Whitney together.
Travis and Whitney, that's the two.
Did we take Peyton and Brady too, maybe?
No. Travis and Whitney, and then there's all these little tiny fish, perch, that taste good, but gee, it's a lot of work to fillet them, you know. Mm-hmm. So I showed the kids, I brought a half a bucket, a 5-gallon bucket home, and I showed them downstairs how to fillet them, and then they filleted a whole bunch of fish for me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we had fun with yanking them out, you know.
They like to come here, and they like to play in the basement, you know, play bar and stuff like
Play
that.
pool a lot.
Pool. Mm-hmm.
Guck mal, wink mal für Opa schon.
What is the matter with you?
What a team. That's the A team.
Guck mal, Schatz, wink mal für Opa. Hi, bye. Bye, Opa. Bye, Opa.
I hope when we are gone that they always stay together and love each other. And I say that so much. To Joanne and Michelle especially, you know, they had each other. They are only 18 months apart. and they were always their best friends, you know, and I said, I hope it always stays that. They still now are good friends, but you know, they all have their families, so you don't see each other so much anymore. But I say, if we are gone, I hope you never split up. You'll always be good to each other. And they say, we promise, you know. Yeah. And that is all we want. And when you have kids, you always want the best for them. And that's all I can say.
And you guys have to sing, okay?
Okay.
Okay, what do we... oh! We're playing Jingle Bell.
Yes.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
there. What's...